Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So here's a newly updated version of my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. So I made a post about when I got my copy of Double A Zeus, as you can clearly see right here. I was thinking, you know what, I could probably put this in Blue Eyes. It's an Xyz deck, and I have the perfect monsters that I could use to kind of like bring this out fairly easy, especially if I end up going second. Now keep in mind, Double A Zeus is not actually my win condition of the deck, but it's still a nice addition because, you know, it can basically bull out your opponent's field, and the fact that it doesn't actually destroy, it sends, that's pretty nuts. So like, if you can bait out like multiple negates and then still manage to bring this out, yeah, your opponent's gonna be kind of stuck here because like it's instant board wipe. Now of course this affects you too, but again, like if you have like the combos necessary, you don't even have to worry about that regardless. So yeah, Double A Zeus, pretty broken for an Xyz monster, and it's super easy to bring out. But anyway, that's not what we're gonna focus on entirely. So anyway, figured I'd show you guys what my deck profile is like now, and yeah, let's get to it. So main deck's still 40 cards, starting off with 3 of the original Blue Eyes White Dragon. Definitely want to run this at 3. It's the fact that it's a level 8 monster and you generally turbo out rank 8s as much as possible, there's no reason not to run this at 3. Next, 2 alternatives. I didn't feel like 3 was needed simply because, well, 1, it can be a bit of a break sometimes. Plus, it's searchable anyway. Plus, the only way to bring this out is to have the OG Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand regardless. Now, if you do want to run 3, go ahead. I might eventually do that myself, but for right now, 2 is perfectly fine. Like I said, it's searchable. You don't really need to max out on this card whatsoever. 1 Dragon Spirit of White. There's a lot of back row this format, so Dragon Spirit of White, and considering its effect is not a hard once per turn, as long as you keep bringing this back, you can easily keep banishing back row, and yeah, like this card just puts in a lot of work. So Dragon Spirit of White, pretty good, and it can also tag out to the original Blue Eyes in your hand. So yeah, what's also cool about this card is that it's always treated as a normal while it's in your hand and in your graveyard. So definitely something to consider, you know. Moving on, 3 copies of Sage. This gives you access to all your tuner monsters as long as they're level 1 light ones. And yeah, it's also pretty good because you can discard it too, target an effect monster and send it to the graveyard and special summon another Blue Eye. So pretty good. Next up, 2 Whitestone of Ancients. So I was thinking of running this at 3, but I just didn't really have the room. And honestly, 2 is fine. Like I said, you're going to get access to all your Blue Eyes White Dragons fairly quickly, especially with the combos that this deck can perform. It gets nuts. So yeah, Whitestone of Ancients still pretty good. And it's also pretty necessary for your guard dragon plays because, you know, you need level 4 below dragon type monsters for this to work. So yeah. 1 Whitestone of Legend, you know, 1 is just fine. And honestly, you can easily kind of abuse this fairly easily, especially when you can bring it out with Halki Fibrax. So yeah, Whitestone of Legend, pretty nuts. Moving on, for my side dragon engine, I'm running 2 copies of Nebula Dragon. An amazing card. It's basically like another version of Alternative. The only difference is that you can reveal any other level 8 dragon in your hand, special summon both this and that dragon in defense mode, and also you'll be locked into light and or dark dragon monsters for the duration of the turn. But keep in mind, it's for the rest of the turn. So you can go full combo first, then play Nebula Dragon after. So just bear that in mind. 1 Galactic Spiral Dragon, a really good extender for this deck. As long as you control 2 or more light and or dark dragon monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand or your graveyard, but you have to banish it when it leaves the field. But you can easily bypass this because it's also a level 8 monster. So just go into one of your rank 8s and you can pretty much save this card. And also when it's summoned, all other dragons you control become level 8 monsters. So it's pretty good. So yeah, if you want to use like one of your stones, well, not that you really need to, as level 8 monsters, you could, but just letting you guys know that. I'm also running 1 copy of Chaos Dragon Levianeer. This is actually pretty cool because it's searchable through Melody of the Awakening Dragon. Plus, if you banish 3 light monsters, you can bring back one of your own. You can bring back one of your monsters back from the graveyard in defense mode. So it's also pretty good. So just bear that in mind. Just for nostalgic reasons, I'm also running the original Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy of the End. And yes, this is the original pre-errata from Invasion of Chaos. Of course, I don't actually use the effect. Just bear that in mind now that the errata does have a restriction against you. So I just mainly use it as another extender. And again, it's a level 8 monster. Just, you know, you definitely need your level 8s. Next up, for the 1-ofs, I got 1 Darkness Metal. You can easily bring this out with Guard Dragon LP. 1 Starleaf Saphir. It's just kind of like a pseudo starter. Like, I don't really want to see it too often, but if I have a Nebula Dragon that's kind of like just there and I don't have another dragon to use it for, I'll just normal summon this, get rid of that Nebula Dragon, and start going other combos from there. So like, yeah, Starleaf Saphir is just kind of like my hand fixer in a way. So like, yeah, it's pretty good. And also the fact that if it's in the graveyard, you can banish it and search out a, well, not search out, but you can recycle one of your leveled 8 light and or dark dragon monsters. So yeah, not too bad. And of course, since, you know, I do run Union Carrier, I am running the Dragon Buster, so figured why not. All right, for hand traps, my hand trap lineup's fairly small, actually. I'm actually running 2 copies of Droll and Lockbird. Think of it as just like my contingency plan when I'm going second, especially against like any deck that surges like crazy, like Dinosaur. The first surge they get, Droll and Lockbird. And for Noble Knights, they're pretty prone to that card too. So yeah, Droll and Lockbird. Like I said, anything that can search like a lot, you want to Droll and Lockbird. And of course, 2 copies of Effect Veiler. It is searchable through Sage, so that's actually really nice. And yeah, not much else to say about that. All right, so that's it for monsters. Now we're moving on to spells. For spells, 3 copies of Melody of the Awakening Dragon. This is pretty key to your strategy. It searches out 2 dragons with 3,000 or more attack points with 2,500 or less defense. So yeah, like I said, like all your chaos monsters, searchable. Your blue eyes and alternatives, searchable. 3 trade-in. I am running a bunch of level 8 monsters, so yeah, trade-in is pretty important. 3 Return of the Dragon Lords. Running 2 copies of Dragon Shrine. And to go along with it, 1 copy of Foolish Barrel. So technically you're running 3 Dragon Shrine, but Dragon Shrine is a hard once per turn, so Foolish Barrel is just like I said, just if you happen to open up with both, you pretty much got everything you need right there. Got 1 for 1, 1 Cards of Consonance for more draw power, basically. 1 Silver's Card, so this card is actually making a comeback in my deck simply because, like I said, more back row, so you definitely want to use Dragon Spirit of White as much as possible. And since it is treated as a normal monster well in the grave, Silver's Cry can definitely help you out with this strategy, so yeah. And of course, 1 copy of Monster Reborn. And that's it for the main deck. Alright, now for the extra deck, we're starting off with the Xyz monsters, of course. Starting off with Divine Arsenal, AA Zeus. So I've already explained what this card does. This is basically a good way to obliterate your opponent's board. So the way you can summon this is that whenever you have an Xyz monster that battled this turn, on your main phase 2, essentially, you can Xyz summon this card using that monster that you battled with, and its materials become his. And also, once per turn, and this is also a quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card, send all other cards on the field to the grave. Now, this is really good going second, but it's also good going first, too. Like, and this is like, well, actually, I wouldn't say it's good going first because, like, if you're going first, you can't really bring it out because you didn't battle. But again, going second, if you can just, like, clear out a couple monsters, and then if you still have some threats to deal with, just send everything else away. So, like, that's actually not too bad. So, AA Zeus is pretty good. I'm still running Dragublion. Dragublion's still not too bad. This, you know, the fact that you can easily bring out a free number monster from your extra deck as long as they're dragons, basically. So, for Dragublion's fodder, like I always like to reveal number 62 now, even though I don't actually use it in terms of battle or anything like that. It's just good for fodder for either my number 107 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon or my Hope Harbinger. And personally, I like to go Hope Harbinger since, you know, he can steal spells as materials. But yeah, Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon is actually the way I like to go when it comes to going into AA Zeus, simply because at the start of the battle phase, you detach 1 material, negates all other card effects on the field, and also this card can make in a second attack. And also, as a bonus, it reverts all other monsters' original attack points back to normal, basically. So it's a good way for like anything that has like a power boost, for example, Borreload Savage Dragon. It gains a power boost whenever it's equipped with a Link monster. It goes back to its original 3k. And with Return of the Dragon Lords, you can easily protect it from battles. So yeah, Tachyon Dragon, definitely an amazing card. And again, Hope Harbinger, no explanation, negates spells, so why not? And that's it for the Xyz monsters. For Synchros, I kind of cut down on my Synchro lineup. I'm only running 1 copy of Blue Eye Spirit Dragon now, simply because that's all you're ever going to need. I still like to run the 1 Azure Eyes, so Azure Eyes for protection. And I actually cut a Black Rose Moonlight Dragon for Stardust Spark Dragon. It's a level 8 light monster that can be tagged out from Spirit Dragon. And the fact that it can actually protect itself from the end phase effect. But not that you need to in any way, because it's a level 8 monster, so more rank 8 access basically. So that's the only reason why I'm running Stardust Spark Dragon. But again, he does have a built-in protection effect, so you can protect one of your own cards. It doesn't even have to be him specifically. So yeah, Stardust Spark Dragon didn't seem like a bad option. I was like, you know what, this is good. I'll deal with that. All right, now moving on to the links. Running Halki Firebrax. This just gives me access to all my stones basically. So Yeah, that's the only real reason. Oops, I accidentally bumped the camera there. One hieratic seal. Of course, I am running the Guard Dragon, so Elpie, Pisty, and of course, Saryuja Skuldred, so not too bad. Also still running one Link Karibo, and of course, lastly, one Union Care to give me access to my Dragon Buster. I'm not running the Buster Whelp Link Monster or Romulus. I didn't feel like they were necessary. And on the combo video, I'll show you what you can do with this. Because again, the combos on this deck are actually pretty nuts. And if you can do it all correctly, you'll see like why I don't really need those cards in general. So yeah, Hauki Firebricks is just kind of like my enabler. And then Hieratic Seal is usually a card I go into last. But yeah, you generally just need to turbo out into Saryuja, and just like that, you're pretty much set to go. So yeah, it's pretty good. And as for the side deck, it's pretty self-explanatory, you know. Not much explanation needed for these either. 3 Nibiru, double DD Crow. I'm running a 3rd Drone Lockbird just in case if I need it. For more back row removal, I'm actually running a triple Twin Twister, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. I'm actually running Called by the Grave on the side, you know. It's kind of sacky at times, but if you can draw into it, you know, go ahead and side it in. 1 Regeki, you know, nobody ever sees it coming, so it's pretty funny. And last but not least, 3 copies of Evenly Matched. You know, more going to second card, so yeah, pretty nice. Well, hopefully you guys enjoy this deck profile, and I will catch you guys again on the combo video.